Hello, Lit and Comp 2. Welcome to Thursday, April 7th. We're back to a full day schedule and we are going to get into workshop. You guys are working on the top 5 1984 presentations. This is the part 2 reflections and analysis project. It is an assessment grade and you are working in groups of 3 to 4 or 2 to 4 depending on who you sit with or want to work with. I'm going to go over the assignment today. I'm going to revisit parts of the sample. You do have a graded assignment on Google Classroom that you need to do. It is a question, so we got several different things going on today. So make sure you pay attention in this video. So here is the assignment sheet that I passed out before break. I did a sample presentation and it is located here. It's also posted multiple times in Google Classroom. What I want you guys to do is consider the steps of what you need to accomplish in order to get this project going, completed, and fully developed with all of your group mates. So looking at today's goals. First is your part 2 notes packet should be done. That should be completed. If you're reading today, I just want to make sure that you are able to fully support your group. So trying to read or catch up on reading is not a great strategy because you really do need to start building up a slideshow. Your actual packet is due April 11th. You guys will show that to me in class when I get back and you guys will turn that in. But I want you to hold it for now so you're able to use it for your actual slideshow. You guys need to figure out your focus and your top 5 list. So if you're going to focus on the top 5 reasons why Winston is an idiot, because a lot of what happens when you look at chapter 10 in relationship to everything before chapter 10, you can see Winston was basically doomed from the start. So if you did not read or were confused about chapter 10, Mr. Charrington is a thought police and basically set up Winston and Julia the entire time. So the room, the junk shop, all of it, he was kind of conditioning Winston to trust him and to feel at ease and to feel comfortable, to feel like he was a paperweight or he was kind of in this class safety with this quarrel, which of course shatters in a very symbolic way. You know, from the music and all of it, it's all a illusion of comfort and security. And ultimately Winston has been arrested, as well as Julia. They got clubbed pretty good too on the way out the door. And there's a telescreen hiding behind that picture. So there's lots of different ideas you could do for top 5. Like I said, top 5 moments, Winston's an idiot. Top 5 reasons you can't break the little or the big rules. The top 5 ways Big Brother was able to deceive Winston. The top 5 reasons why the proles are complicated. The top 5 reasons why Winston and Julia would have never worked out. I don't know. So you need to figure out what your focus is. We do have a list on the backboard that you could reference, and then you definitely want to make sure that you claim it. So how do you claim it? That's this thing right here. This is not quite posted yet because if I try to post it, it will be a little goofy. But what you're going to do is this question will be posted. It is due by the end of the class period. I need you to tell me who are you working with and what is your focus and top 5 kind of agenda. And everybody needs to post, please. It is 10 points. And then what will happen is it will allow me to inventory and see the groups as well as who's doing what. I mean, I have some ideas before I leave, but a lot has changed, obviously, in the reading. So make sure you answer this. It will be located on Google Classroom as an assignment under Unit 2, 1984. All right. You also got to start collecting evidence. Now, remember, evidence is also scenes or chapters that you think are super important or interesting in relationship to your theme and focus. And then you're going to start drafting your slideshow. So use the sample as an outline and a checklist. All right. It is a tool. I've given it to you guys. You can borrow it. I'm okay with it. I tried to make sure I labeled the bottom of the boxes to help you. So I'm going to click through this right now and kind of shout out to some of the things that are part of the organizational process. And you guys might just put filler slides in now. The first thing is you do need to have a title slide. Just like the title of a paper can be dramatic and draw in your audience, you will have a title as well. You may not know your title yet, obviously, because you still got to get through your evidence. So you could put title by Joe Schmo Kokomo. All right. Yesterday, you might have created some reactions. Use that. You can use that as a slide, especially because I'm not there with you right now. I want to know your reactions. I want to know how you felt or what chapters stood out to you the most from part 2. And then what I wanted to do was kind of explain my title or explain, you know, some literary elements that I kind of focused in on, like exposition. So you could ask yourself and your group, what are some of the literary pillars that are really strong in part 2? Characterization is pretty strong. Winston as a character, but then putting him against Julia. Like, we don't have any good contrasting characterization in part 1 other than with characters like Simon Parsons, and Winston doesn't interact with them very much. He judges them as stupid, but he's not actually, you know, kind of set up in relationship to anybody. He's a loner. But yet in part 2, he becomes somebody in a relationship. The setting, Mr. Charrington's shop, there's so much you could do there because it's interesting how the setting shifts, shape what happens. Plot points, I definitely think the structure of the story mixed with things like Hate Week is really fascinating. There's lots of lit devices. We've talked about the symbolism. So here you can see I kind of talked about other things literature. You could bring in other literary things from your own, you know, study from previous classes. I talked about protagonists. Some people will talk about archetypes. I talk a little bit about Winston's worlds. This is going to be my interactive activity. I'll talk more about this thing tomorrow. And then I have my claim. So as you can see, it is author focused. It talks about different layers of discussion. So I'm going to talk about the readers and how they feel. I'm going to talk about our protagonist. I'm going to talk about Winston Smith. So you'll want to draft some type of claim. This is like a thesis. You may not be able to get there today because sometimes your evidence and your top 5 list will help shape your thesis statement. So I start gathering my evidence. And this is where you can assign it out. So partner 1 can be in charge of the intro materials. Partner 2 can be in charge of 2 evidence points. Partner 3, so you can kind of break it up. But as you can see, I have evidence points emerging here. I kind of tried to pull from all throughout the book. I tried to do kind of like a list of evidence in this example. I did a key quote in this example. This is more me just kind of summarizing key chapters. So this is kind of like paraphrased evidence. And then this is just really short. It's kind of my interpretation of lots of sauce quotes. But I just kind of tried to pull in some short little tidbits. And then I come back to my thesis statement or my claim again. And then you do want to have some type of closing device as well. So I'll talk more about this, but use these boxes at the bottom. You can see. Like this is my claim box. This is my top 5 blank box. This is our reaction box. This says closing. But I'm super curious what your focus is going to be. So, goals today. You got to make sure your reading was already completed. Claim your focus in your top 5 list. You're going to do that with this question that will be posted on Google Classroom at 7 a.m. You guys will start collecting evidence, start collecting scenes and chapters and deciding why you like those and what you want to say about it. And then you might start sketching out your slideshow. The last thing I'll leave you on is up here. This is kind of some roles. I really want you to make sure your teamwork is balanced, all right? Group work can always lead to like inequities of who's doing what. So please make sure you're not doing that. Somebody might be in charge of the slideshow. Somebody might be in charge of gathering the visuals and making the slideshow look nice. Somebody also will start to think about a support or extension activity. And then others might be collecting evidence. So these are a couple roles. This is not all the roles, but that was just some advice to help you guys. So here's the list. You guys can reference here. You can definitely reference back to the rubric, which is on the back, and then look through the slideshow accordingly. So good luck. Today's goal is to get started, claim a topic, and start getting those evidence points organized.